Alright, boys and girls, happy Sunday. Not our normal stream time, I understand that, but we had a little bit of an interruption for last night's stream. So I noticed here just a little bit ago, Anchorage Center was back online, so I quickly hopped in and fired up the DC-8, which of course, if you know anything about the DC-8, you know that's not a fast process. But anyway, as luck would have it, our controller had to do something else, so we're back offline, but that's okay. We're still going to fly. It's interesting weather, and it's a fun route. Probably not going to be quite as scenic as yesterday's would have been, just because we are going to run into those low clouds, and we may be above the clouds for most of the trip here. But as you can see, the weather doesn't look too bad. Here and there, going to be some issues, but we're going to be Anchorage 9 departure, which kind of has, I don't know, I thought that was some kind of a weird routing deal, but no, it's not. Anchorage 9 departure down to basically just down the coastline here. JOH, on the J501 down to Yakutuk, Huna. I'm not very familiar with my Alaskan airspace, but then on into Ketchikan, and actually I should be showing you this map right here. But completely slant whiskey navigation today. We're actually going to give the INS a break. We're just going to go, part of our get this thing rolling quickly was to not worry about putting everything into the INS. So we're just gonna, we will look at wind data, but everything else we're just gonna use our VORs and radio navigation. So yeah, that's what we're after, and we'll communicate via Unicom here as we get ourselves rolling. I should take a second here to look at the Anchorage 9 departure, and yeah, let's see. We will be making our way out to the west, making a left-hand turn down to Johnstone Point. It's our active sky telling us here about conditions, weather conditions in the area. 140 at 5, cloudy, yep, broken 2,800, 3,400 overcast, and it was snow just a minute ago, which yeah, it's November and it's Alaska, and so 254 is our heading, and I believe our top altitude is 4,000. Let's go to page 2 here and just double check. And yep, maintain 4,000. And I believe we're going to want to take one of the 2 5s, just because I think 1 5 is, oh no, I think we'd be okay. That's 10,000. So we'll take runway 15. So that means we're actually going to do a 149 heading, and then we can turn, we'll go direct Johnstown Point. Okay, I think that'll work. I think that will work. Johnstown Point is 1670 for our nav frequency. And alright, good deal. Good deal, good deal. And it's a 09er 5. I'm going to have to spin it all the way around, aren't I? Oh, actually, no. It's 09er 5 outbound from Anchorage, so it'll be the reciprocal of that here to Johnstown Points. 27. No, that's not right. I'm misreading the chart already, and I haven't even left. We are going to be heading to 09er 5. There we go. Not showing anything just yet. It's going to wait, take us a second here to get rocking and rolling, but I think we're pretty close. Let me just double check here, make sure everything is ready to go before taxi clearance. We will set our flaps to 15. Our controls are free and correct. Alright, that looks good. We're in the, by the way, the Canadian Pacific livery today. It will be Empress 816, if you are following along. Altitude, we need to set that 4,000. And let's see here, our heading 149. Let's zoom in down here. Where are we here? No matter how you load it, it always seems like it's clear across the other way, the other side, to get your heading bug lined up. So I would say right there, 149 runway heading essentially. It actually does have us on a little bit of a weird jog here, 201. Let me just double check that. Climb heading 149, right hand climbing turn 201. Alright, it must be some terrain or something, so we will follow that. I don't want to crash into the side of a mountain here. And alright, back to the checklist. Transponder to mode Charlie, it is. We are going to squawk 1200. Yep. Weather radar is on. You can hear we've got some traffic in the area. Taxi lights will come on. I am going to turn on all the pitot heats here. Windshield heat warming up, and I want some. I think we need to have some instrument lights here. It's a little bit dark and overcast. Alright, fasten belts, nav lights, all of those are on. And alright, that's working. Continuous ignition can be armed. And alright, I think we are ready to rock and roll. Now, where the heck are we? I think I know where we're at. I believe we are kind of right in this area here, and so I think we can just head. Hopefully this is kind of Lima out in front of us, and head up Lima Romeo and head on down Romeo to runway 15. But that's a big question mark. What do we have up here? Yep, Lima to Romeo. So we go over here. We can, we could actually think we could go over here and grab Mike. So I think that's what we're gonna do. And release the parking brakes. Let's see what's happening here. Why is my screen completely black? That would be the $150 question. Alright, there we go. We are on. Sorry about that. If you're trying to watch and wondering what in the world's going on, I had my sim screen turned off. So, yeah. Oh, and now I'm taxiing onto the grass. Holy cow, this is a shaky start, to say the least. Maybe not flying yesterday was a sign. Okay, well, should have left the black screen for 10 more seconds, then you would have seen me out there carving up the grass, but oh well, that's okay. So you didn't see any of the map stuff. I'll show you that once we get airborne. You heard the audio, I guess, but that was about it. I don't know how that got switched off. That's really strange. Very, very strange. Alright, up we go. Hello, Al South. Thanks for joining me, man. Pretend you didn't see the taxi mishap right there. Okay, my friend? Any luck? This is Mike? Yes, it is. Mike to Romeo. Right-hand turn Romeo. And probably should make a call here just in case. That's what I like about you. That's why we're friends, Sal South. Forgiveness. Anchorage traffic. Empress 816 is a DC-8 taxiing via Romeo to runway 15, Anchorage. And
Anchorage traffic, UPS 2994 heavies on the 22 DME arc for Anchorage on the ILS runway 15 transition off of Ivan. We'll be following United, slowing.
Alright, good to know. 22 out. He'll probably be down before we're ready to go because we have a little bit of a taxi here, especially since I'm turning it into quite the adventure.
Anchorage traffic, Westwind 3382, a 7478 is pushing from November 8, planning 25 left.
Alright, those guys in the 25s. Alright. Al South, glad to hear. So you're getting the 757 ready, yeah, just to get it from cold and dark to ready, yeah, that's a fun way to spend a morning. There's something about that I like, about when you're figuring out, and I know most planes come with some sort of a checklist and all that stuff. Usually, I shouldn't say all planes, Captain Sim, but it's fun to kind of make your own checklist, you know, and just go through those steps that help you get the bird going. And because you're right, the first time you do it, it's like super slow and time consuming, but eventually you get it, you get familiar with it and comfortable with it. But yeah, I think it's a great way. It's just kind of like you and I have talked about this before. It's putting that puzzle together, you know, that 1,000-piece puzzle or whatever. And the start is always slow.
Karina 261, approaching final turn, ILS 15.
All right, so he'll be coming in. There's traffic coming in ILS 15. We'll get up here. I believe Quebec is where we'll hold short. We'll make our final checks, and we'll be ready to go.
UPS 2994 heavy established on an 18-mile final, ILS runway 14, following United.
14, he must have some updated scenery. I have the default, obviously, and so we're calling it 15. I don't know if it's still 15 right now. Yeah, man, that downwind sim guy is a smart dude and has a lot of tricks up his sleeve, and he has really helped me out. And I'm getting a little bit, I'm not at his level yet, but I'm getting a little bit better with my scenery building, and my goal is to actually make a contribution to one of our Bush League fly-ins here in the future. I'd like to be able to provide a little bit of scenery instead of leaving it all on his shoulders or whoever else. You know, I'd like to be able to help out myself. So I'm going to get up here, hold short, and I'll let the traffic that's on final make his approach and finish his landing. And then there's a guy, I think maybe behind him, but we'll check in here.
Anchorage traffic, Karina 261, established ILS 15, number 3 behind UPS 2994.
Oh, maybe he has the updated. So it actually showing 14 here on my default scenery, but Sky Vector calls this 15. Anchorage traffic, Empress 816, holding short 15. We'll wait for the arrival airport. We have traffic in sight. The arrival airport. Oh, my verbiage needs work. Okay, so let's do before takeoff check. We need to change from taxi lights to landing lights. We'll go ahead and put put the retracts on as well.
Anchorage traffic, UPS 2994 heavy, 10-mile final, ILS runway 15 Anchorage.
Alright, so there's at least one guy coming in. I think there's another guy with right behind him as well. So I'm okay letting both of those guys come in just because I don't like to be in a rush when it comes to this plane. So I need to check my altimeter 2970. Ooh, that's off. Holy cow. 2973. Man, it's changing by the second. Alright, 2973. There's the first guy. Ah, nicely done, nicely done. Yeah, you're right, Al South. The passengers won't like it, but I'll just have my co-pilot make the announcement, and we'll get the beverage cart down the aisle one last time before we take off. Altitude checked. 4,000 heading is checked, and then I need to be on
traffic. Westwind 3382 is taxiing Echo, Mike, Kilo, and Charlie to 25 left.
I might be able to, maybe I can get out before this guy gets to me. I know there's actually two guys coming in. I think I maybe be able to get out. I don't. Anchorage departure, Empress 816. We're departing runway 15, Anchorage. Yeah, we're going to just go ahead and go.
Anchorage traffic, UPS 2994 heavy, 4-mile final, runway 15 Anchorage.
Anchorage traffic, Empress 816. We're going to go ahead and hold short for UPS, Anchorage.
Anchorage traffic, Karina 2619, mile final, runway 15 Anchorage.
Alright, so he's right behind that guy. 4-mile final. We're probably close. Yeah, we better. I think we are just gonna stay right here. So, well, okay. So going back to talking about downwind sim, and what you see in that video is about the fourth time that he's actually walked me through that stuff. So, and I had asked him to do that again and record that so that I could have, that archive. And then I'm sure you probably heard throughout as I was just taking notes, because now I'm at the point where instead of, yep, there's our traffic coming in. Instead of just clicking buttons like a kid at Christmas, I actually know. I mean, it makes more sense now, so I can go ahead and it just makes more sense. Oh, that's awesome right there! Holy cow! Look at that big 7.4. Yeah, baby. Let's watch him. Beautiful. So it's hard to get a sense of scale of the 747 sometimes. But last night, and I tried to fly this route last night, I was actually parked right next to a 747, and the thing just dwarfs the DC-8. And the DC-8...
Anchor traffic, UPS 2994 heavies exiting runway 15, passing behind United, taxiing the UPS ramp in Anchorage.
The DC-8 holds over 200 people.
Anchorage, Karina 261, 3 nautical mile final, runway 15 Anchorage.
It's just like crazy. It's so much taller and longer, and just, I mean, it's wild. But anyway, so going back to your compliment, thanks. I mean, I appreciate that, Al South. I hope I at least sound like I know what I'm doing, but the proof is in the pudding. And we'll see if I'm able to actually make a little scenery. I guess once I start putting some out there, we'll see how much of a, if I just sound like a pro or if I'm actually able to do some things. Okay, there's our final. This is the Korean airline. .747 day into Anchorage. Whoa. Awesome. All right. Anchorage Center, Empress 816, line up runway 15. Well, good job, you guys, coming in. Good communication.
Anchorage, Korean Air 261 vacating runway 15 at Mike, touch to stand Romeo 12 via Lima and Golf. Anchorage.
Might be a little bit of a wake turbulence issue here, but let's get it. We'll get it lined up, and things will dissipate here, I think, fairly quickly. All right. One more check. Takeoff lights, retracts are on. Altimeter checked. Altitude checked. Heading checked. Main fuel pumps feed only. That is a step that I am not convinced is needed right now. Okay, so we're going to depart. Again, basically runway heading. We're going to make a right-hand climbing turn to 210. Then we're going to go directly Johnstown, and yeah, we'll see how this goes. We're going to be IMC here real quick. So Anchorage traffic, Empress 816, departing at runway 15 Anchorage. Here we go, guys. Oh, I know what I forgot to set. Takeoff power, I know from my chart, is 190. I don't have that set. Rotation speed is 128. So I'm looking on my engine EPRs for 190. There's my 100. There's V1. Rotates. Should have had those dials set, but I have the numbers on my other monitor here, so it's okay. There's a positive rate. Bring the gear up. Busting through flap speed. Make our turn 210. I do not do very well following the instruments, as you're about to see here. Thousand to go. Climbing rapidly. I don't need to quite be climbing that much. There we go, that's better. Let's keep the turn going. There's 4,000. I'm going to say we're given, at this point in time, we'd be given a clearance a little bit higher. Not sure what it would be, but we're going to keep the climbing right. Oh, now I got the nose down. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm about to overspeed. Oh boy. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, there's the overspeed. Dropped about half of my altitude that I'd gained there. Trying to trying to flip that altitude dial up a little bit. Alright, back on the climb. Again, 5,000 feet a minute. Probably don't need quite so much. I did read that it's not uncommon for this thing to be, though, climbing at 5,000 feet a minute. I like to get it to 210, get it leveled off, then get established in the climb, get my speed figured out. Just about there. Okay, there's 210. Let's bring things back, level it out. Alright, speed's not bad right now. I am going to go ahead though, just so I don't have another repeat performance of Mr. Nosedive. Turn the autopilot on, gauge the heading. Let's
Anchorage traffic was 13382 entering runway 25 left.
set the VS wheel
to the west. Anchorage.
to climb less steep, maybe about 1,000 feet per second. I need to get my speed. So generally what happens is you take this bird out at about 250 until you get to 10,000, and then at 10,000 you level out a little bit and you try to get your speed up to 300 knots, and then that's what you try to maintain in the climb. Alright, we've picked up our VOR, so we do have that. And I'm going to get this set here. Let's see. Speed's coming up. I'm at 9,000 right now, so climbing at about 1,000 feet or so per minute. Once I hit 300, I'm going to go ahead and turn. Left-hand turn to try to intercept. There we go. Alright. Al South is giving me pointers here, and I'm sorry, man, I'm not able to look and see. I'm in the middle of a wrestling match here. This guy's going to be blinking the entire time because I don't have anything entered for any kind of a waypoint. I'm just going to completely go radio navigation. Yeah, it's 5,000 feet a minute. Like I said, I'm with you. It's like a flippin' rocket ship. Okay, so we're about to overspeed again. Let's increase our rate of climb. We're definitely not very smooth, or I'm not very smooth in my rate of climb. I find if I can get it to about 3,000 feet a minute, then I can adjust the EPR, which, by the way, the cruise EPR is going to be 160. I'm going to set that. So right now I could be going, I do have a max climb EPR of 189 if I wanted it. We start to break through the clouds here just a little bit. 13,000. And now we're making pretty good climb power here. So we're not even, right now, I'm not even at the cruise power setting. We're still doing pretty well. I want to keep this speed at 300 or better. If you've watched me fly this before, you'll know it's an extremely difficult plane to recapture airspeed. If it falls down, I mean, if it gets down below 250, that's not the worst thing in the world. You can, generally speaking, just power up and kind of at least maintain that. But when it gets down around 200, it's darn near impossible. Even at just a level level cruise, it starts to nose up, and and then it's just hard to recapture speed. You actually have to start to nose it down to get that back. Yeah, no, I understand Al South, and yeah, that was not pretty. If we were to look at that vertical path, that would literally look like a roller coaster. Climb out at about 4,000, or climb out at about 6,000, which is way too much, then descend at about 6,000, which is frightening. And now finally somewhat of a reasonable 3,000 feet per minute. I mean, I don't know, that doesn't look too extreme, you know. I think that's doable. Oh, and there's starting to see why we're wanting to make that right-hand turn, guys. Holy cow, yeah, there's some terrain in them thar hills. Look like out here. Awesome. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, glad to have you along, Al South. If nothing else, it's good to have somebody to give me a hard time and keep the mood light. Let's turn off all the lights here. We can take our continuous ignition off as well. Yeah, it's the vomit comet. We are above 18,000, so 29902. That's exactly what I meant to do, Al South. I had some astronauts in training, and I was trying to make sure that those guys got that zero-G experience. Okay, so 84 miles. Since I messed this up on the beginning, here's where we're at. We departed Anchorage and kind of did one of these, turned to 210. Now we're coming back here to hopefully intercept this airway. We're heading to Johnstone Point, and we'll be on our way down here to Yakutat, and this is Puna, and what's this next point here? Level Island, and then Level Island into Ketchikan. We do have a little bit of weather to consider, as you are seeing, but looks like in the Ketchikan area itself right now, not too bad. It does say it is raining, broken, scattered at 3,200, broken 4,700, broken 6,000. But the winds are calm right now. Well, no, yeah, winds are calm. 6 statute miles of visibility, so it'll be a little bit of visibility issue, but that's okay. That'll be good. It'll be good practice for us bringing it on in, using nothing but the radio navigation. Still waiting for this VOR to come back into play here. Maybe I'll bump it over to the left just a little bit more. We're trying to intercept that outbound 0905 radio. Alright, so far so good. Let's I'm gonna check my after takeoff. Everything looks good. Anti-ice protection on. So I need to turn my main. Here's what got me last time. I mismanaged the fuel. Oh, manifold pressure. Why is manifold pressure light on here? What's going on? Manifold air pressure. These are all turned on, right? Yep, they're on. Cabin compressors are all on. That's all good. Ooh, one thing I need to do here, I need to do AC tie. I don't want to run out of battery power here. I don't know why I'm having a manifold air pressure. Oh boy, now I have lost my, here's what I was talking about with airspeed. If you're not paying attention like I wasn't. Look at that, I'm down to 130 knots right now. I'm almost down to VREF. So I'm going to have to descend. Here we go, down 4,000 feet per minute. Whoops. Boy, you just can't turn your back for 1 second on this plane. Hey, downwind, Sim. So you checked in just like Al South, right at the worst time, right at the time when I'm screwing things up. Al South popped in right when I was taxiing across the grass, and you tuned in just in time to almost see me stall out the DC-8. Alright, so we were almost up. We were above 30,000. We'll get the speed built back up here, and then we'll resume our climb. Alright. That's looking better. Set that. Alright, let's spin this guy around, and we'll resume our climb probably more at a reasonable 1,000 feet per minute. You guys just lie in wait, don't you, until you see something going haywire, and then you're like, oh hey, let me go check in right now and warn him about his airspeed. Alright, still waiting for this guy to come in. I'm hoping at some point in time we pick up that. That would be very nice. We're 56 miles away from Johnstown. If we don't, I guess we'll just pick up the outbound and we'll rock and roll. Sirens going off here in the Midwest. I think you're safe. I think you are okay there in the greater St. Louis area. I'm clear up in Alaska, for Pete's sake. Okay, back up we go. I don't know if I'm going to get 300 again, but I am about to pick up my VOR, which is nice. Pop this back here and at least get her to 1,000. About to engage the VOR mode. There we go. That'll make that nice gentle turn. Alright, back over here. So I was just checking. I gotta make sure that my main fuel tanks, mains are set to fill. Okay, mains to fill, mains to fill, mains to fill. Okay. And I also need to be doing, this needs to be auxiliary boost, I think needs to be on. Yep. So you have to, let me make sure I'm on the right. Yep, there we go. I'm picking that up. So you have to unload. Part of the fun of this plane and part of the challenge and part of what I still haven't figured out is you have to unload the fuel in a particular order to guarantee the best structural integrity of the wing. So the first thing that they want you to do is they want you to burn off this fuel here on the 1 and 4 alternate tanks. So let's see, I've got the number 2 and 3 engines, and this is where I screwed up last time. I shut off the number 2 and the number 3 engines. So I want the cross feeds need to be turned down to all. Oh, that, see, that turned off my. That's exactly what happened last time. I've just lost my number. Just lost my number 3 engine. Oh no! And I don't know how to restart this thing in flight. This is bad, guys. This is really bad. Alright, that guy's all the way. No. 0 RPMs. 0. I may need to turn back around and land in Anchorage. So that is a... Alright, we're going to attempt to restart this engine here in flight, and I don't have any idea if I'm going to be able to. We're going to repeat the procedure here. We're going to turn the boost feed on. Yep, take her up to 30,000 and start turning things off. You're right. That's exactly what I've done here. Turn my starter back on. Engage number 3. With any luck, I should have some. Now I just don't have. I'm not able to generate RPMs. Shoot. Alright, so that's not going to work. But I do think there's a way, and I'm going to have to research this a little bit as we go. It's not ideal flying on 3 engines, but let me get up to cruise altitude here. I've lost a little bit of airspeed because of the fact that I don't have that engine. There's a way to start the engine using like you can get the 4th engine going by using the pneumatic pressure from the other 3 engines, but I have never ever done it before, and I'm gonna have to do research as we fly. Yeah, bleed air start, exactly. There's a way to do that on the ground, so certainly I would think there would be a way to do that in the air, but like I said, let's get to cruise first. Pull the purple lever. That's probably it. That's probably it. Got all kinds of things blinking at me now. Green is go. That's right. Purple is stop. Oy vey. Alright, 16 miles meanwhile to Johnstone Point, Johnstone Creek, Johnstone, what is it? Johnstone Point. And then from Johnstone Point, we are outbound 085. Alright, so we'll get her to 35,000. If we have to, we'll limp it in on 3 engines. What's the harm? I'm taking that step out of my checklist, though. At least I know what killed the number 2 and the number 3 engines last time. So that's a positive. Holy cow. upwards to 350. There we go. We're level. 200 knots. We should be able to pick up our airspeed. I'm hoping. Should only be, cruise power should be 160, and as you can see, we are well above that right now, but except for this one, we're well below our limits, so we're okay. This one's well below the limits. And over here, yeah, everything is still in the green. So we'll run them a little bit harder than we normally do. Yeah, that's maybe what I need to do. But all right, so we're gonna learn together here, guys. DC-8 documentation. I think I have this. There we go. Operating manual. Let's see what Mr. Operating Manual says. Uh-oh, am I going past my... I may need to hold on. Oh yeah, alright, I'm flipping back over to heading mode. I got to get on the outbound 085 here momentarily. There we go. Now we're outbound. We can resume the navigation. Speed is slowly creeping up. We're going to be probably hard pressed to make our cruise speed goal of Mach 0.78. But that's okay. This will kind of be like the low and slow version of the DC-8. Alright, where were we? Oh yeah, we were about to look at some checklists and some manuals. And I've got my two guys on board. The only two guys I'd want to have on board right now. Okay, let's see here. This is really a nice feature. Aerosoft did a nice job of putting all this stuff together. It's just I am not smart enough to decipher it and work it in the proper fashion. Engine instrument panel, that's I don't think what I need. System, I need my emergency, oh crap, I just turned off an engine in cruise checklist. Glide automatic, nav, all that good stuff, no. Cabin pressurization, no. De-icing, no. Air conditioning, no. Engine, okay, now we're getting closer. Descriptions, engine pressure, all that. Engine cooling, engine thrust braking, engine ignition. Alright, so page 47 is where I need to start. Let's go down here and see. Where is page 47? No idea what page I'm on. This is going to end horribly. Oh, yeah. Yeah, at least I have a couple of friends along the way to witness. Tell my wife I love her and all that good stuff. I'll give you the address of where to send flowers. Alright, here we go. Engine. Ground cooling, thrust braking. Getting closer here. If you see something, guys, give me a little holler or something. Searching for the purple lever. Discontinue in-flight thrust braking. Oh yeah, this is, by the way, there's no air brake on this thing. You actually just open up the number 2 and number 3 reversers in flight. YouTube, watch, okay. No, or downwind shared a link. Should I pull this up downwind right now? Is that going to be the answer to my question? Let me know. I'm going to read this real quick. The starter and ignition arming switch has the position armed and off. When the switch armed, electrical power is available to each engine. Might be entertaining, probably not helpful. Okay, well, we'll wait then. Look at us, we're almost up to 230 knots. Alright, fuel shut-off lever, ignition switch. Yep. Ignition override switch is located on the overhead panel. Alright, that's got, okay, so the, of course I translate everything to 737, and there's a continual ignition that in cases like that it just continually tries to fire things up. This is obviously not it. Alright, well, back to looking here. So a continuous ignition switch on the overhead panel has the positions off and all. When the switch is in the all Indians positions, the AC continuous ignition circuit energizes a single spark igniter. On the in combustion chamber number 4, the sparks are energized until the switch is returned to the off. The switch may be used during takeoff and all flight operations to minimize the possibility of a flame out. Okay, when the switch is used, it has no adverse effect on the engine. So it seems like I need to have that on armed. And right now it's sending a little spark to the ignition. It's just that I don't have nothing spinning right now. I've got 0 RPMs. How could that be? If you're flying through the air at 230 knots, how could this not be spinning even just a little bit? It doesn't really show here. Yeah, those aren't animated. That's strange. Okay. All right, I don't have an answer for that just yet. Let me check my navigation here. I am looking at a leg of how long? SkyVector is kind of vexing me a little bit here. How long is this leg? It's a fairly lengthy leg here. We're going to count it out to about 100, and then we'll switch over to Yakutat. All right, back to troubleshooting. Ground operations, no. Before takeoff, no. During flight, should engine icing, okay, don't need that. No, so that doesn't really help us. I'm not seeing anything here that helps us restart an engine in flight. Because then it goes to oil systems. Alright, so let me come back up here to my menu and see if there's anything about like a bleed air start. Engine ignition system operations during flight, page 48. Yeah, so we read that, but it didn't really help us. let's go back and just check it out. Let's see what it tells us. Engine ignition system. It's provided by a DC ignition circuit and a C continuous ignition circuit for flame mount protection. It's supplied by the battery. It energizes this is kind of what we just talked about, yeah. Only the spark igniter in combustion chamber number 4 of each engine is energized. Continuous ignition circuitry for an engine will be de-energized if the corresponding generating system emergency electrical control switch is placed in the bus off power position. So do I have that? Maybe that's why. Do I have it in bus off? You bus off, buddy. I'm worried about this light right here. I'm thinking this may almost be my problem. Alright, bus off. Those are all on. Normal. AC bus. This is unparalleled because of that. If I switch it to a generator, yeah, see, that turns it off. It's not what you want. Alright, we're going to try to go here on a generator, which is not probably the smartest move in the world. I never did pick up that outbound VOR, by the way. In case you're scoring at home, I'm way, way, way to the south. Alright, we'll go back on 060, about 80 miles out. Might be time just to tune in. Yakutuk 1330, let's do that. See if we've got it yet. 1330. And yep, there it is. So if I do 1330, let's just keep the 140 miles out. Yeah, let's keep the turn going since I know I'm well to the south. Alright, so we're on generator power. Let's try all that stuff again. We've got starter is armed. I'm going to turn this back to off. Boost and feed, so we have a little fuel pressure there in number 3. We're going to engage the number 3 starter. We're going to come over here and see, and yeah, nope, no RPMs yet. So, alright, so the problem I think is I'm just not generating any kind of manifold pressure, so I'm not able to spin the engine. All right, well, I don't know, guys. I'm kind of tapped out, and tap on the light 3 times. Yeah, just a failed bulb. Oh boy. All right, just for giggles, because I need a laugh here. Oh yeah, there we go. This is what I need. Jake and Bush. Oh boy. Beautiful bean footage. So I can't wait to see, now that, you know, you play one of these, I can't wait to see what it does to my recommendations. As you can see, most of my playlists center around aviation. Imagine that. Holy cow, yeah. Alright, well, thanks for the comic relief there. I do appreciate it. And you're right, it doesn't really help any. What I need to know is how to, if I turn that off, yeah, see, that's not good either. We don't want that. Now I have the light at least went off. What would turning the number 1 engine pneumatic system off? I wonder what that does. This is the, by the way, I might as well turn the fuel off there. This is the ultimate in desperation. Yep, nothing happening. Nothing happening. Nothing happening. Alright, so let's one more look here, then we'll call it good. I'm going to turn that back on even though it's saying it doesn't like that. So what do I have here? Right, fuel pump, low pressure, yep. Low pressure. Unapproved meme, I wonder what that does. This is why I would not make a good flight engineer. Let me look at the manual. Nope, that didn't help. Let's just start flipping stuff. That's kind of what got us in the problem that we're in right now, isn't it? By the way, how am I doing? Nope, still not on course. Okay, so something in this area perhaps. Hydraulic pump. Only in emergency. Auxiliary hydraulic pump. I don't think I've lost my hydraulic pressure because I have everything going on the other 3 engines. I just don't know how to generate whatever pressure I need to get this engine spinning. Well, alright, we're just going to have to roll with it, guys and gals, so, you know what we haven't done in a little while. Sights and sounds. Usually Al South will have researched about 5 solutions at this point, by the way. That's part of why I have you on board. He's flying the 7.5 or attempting to fly the 7.5. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Alright, I found a different PDF here that might help us. It's only 70 pages long here. Let's take a look. This is our in-flight entertainment. Oh, we still have 197 miles. We still haven't picked up the VOR yet, so we've got time. Oops. Don't need full screen. DC-8 manual. Starting the engines. 50. Let me get my dissertation, my DC-8 dissertation. Alright, here we go. Before... Oh, so this is actually like a Simmers deal. Shift E, Control J. So this is like an FSX deal here. So I don't know what... Yeah. This doesn't look anything like mine. Cross-feed valves are in the normal. Fuel valve switches are all set to off. Yep. The main boost pump is set to boost and feed. Yeah. See, that's okay. Am I set to? I'm worried about turning anything off here. Boost and feed, that's what I had. Boost and feed. Now, fuel valve switches are all set to off, which is what I see over here. That's off. Yep, the starter is armed and ignition override. So that's what I don't have. Oh, here we go. Wait a second. Wait a second, my friends. Aha. I'm going to turn the fuel back on. Alright, so this did help me. Look at what I see here. Engine override, continuous ignition, all engines. Nothing yet. Nothing by turning those guys on, but if I flip this on, oh boy, I was hopeful. This thing's just not budging. Not budging. Not budging an inch. Darn. Alright. Bummer. Okay, well, drats. Back to the drawing board here. Okay, what other checklist do I have in my wonderful Aerosoft folder? Performance, tutorial, INS checklists. This is all the performance charts. I don't think this gives us anything here. Pre-start. Starting the engines, page 9. Let's just go down here and see what it tells us. We've got a little bit of time. Oh, Downwind Sim providing more video tutorials. Pre-start, starting the engines. All those things have to be off. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's why I'm not getting pneumatic power. So I need to have all this off before I am able to start my engine. I need to have all the compressors and the galley power and Freon and stuff turned off. I need the pneumatic pressure to be a minimum of 30 psi. Maybe that's the missing link here, my friends. Can't get this moved. There we go. All right, so let's try that. 66 miles. Ooh, and we overshot. We overshot our VOR. Isn't that the old saying? Troubleshoot, aviate. Isn't something like that? Our mountains are aliasing in a big way. Holy cow! Kind of cool how they're poking up through the clouds, but all right. So let's okay. Turn the fuel off. We have our engine starter armed. We're going to come back up here. Sorry ladies, galley power's coming off. Compressors off. Pneumatic system, Freon, everything coming off. Alright, everything's coming off. Boost is on. We have manifold pressure. Looks like both of these are above 30. Okay, say a little prayer. Oh, jeez, I had that turned on already. Did that spin up? It is. Holy cow, holy cow. Look at that, folks. Look at that, my friends. Okay, the stewardesses are getting mad. Turn the galley power back on. Passengers are getting mad. Turn the air conditioner back on. Compressors. So that was the secret. That was the secret. I'm still getting... Maybe I can keep this on low. Maybe it doesn't need to be high. Maybe that's what it's telling me, is I'm getting too much manifold pressure. Holy cow. That was stressful. Holy guacamole. Alright, so we're back on we're back on 4 engines. Yes. Oh man. That was okay. Now back to the original checklist component that put me in this situation. I am supposed to, and now I'm going to have to work on balancing things out, because as you're going to see, I have almost 1,500 pounds less in this engine than I do this engine. So, and I need to, okay, so this has been emptying like it's supposed to, so that's good. Those boost pumps have worked. I did not take notes, Al South. You were supposed to take notes. What I am supposed to be able to do here, my friends, is I'm going to turn this on. I'm supposed to be able to cross-feed from any one tank into another tank. Now, how the heck do I do that without shutting off the engine? Wolfpack Gamer, hey man, how have I been doing? Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Things have not been real good in my world. I've just flown about a fourth of the way from Anchorage to Ketchikan on 3 engines. And so, unfortunately, I'm not in the TriStar, so that's not a good thing. But here, recently, things have picked up. How about yourself, man? How's that new laptop working for you? Okay, so I should be able to take fuel from my right. Oh, so I want it to go this way. From number 3, I should be able to cross feed that over here to the number 2. I've got absolutely no prayer of doing this without turning the engines back off, do I, guys? There is no chance at all of me doing this. So here's why I think the engine's cut out is when I went to crossfeed to alt, there's no fuel in the number 2 or number 3 alt fuel tanks. Nothing, nada, zip zilch. That will send it to there, out. Glad to hear it, man. Glad life is good. Thanksgiving's coming up. It's always a fun time. I enjoy hanging out with family and feeding my face a little bit. Best part about Thanksgiving is that it is kind of the start of like break season for us in the educational community, because we have a little bit of a long weekend for Thanksgiving, and then just a couple of weeks, and then we have another nice break around the Christmas and New Year's holidays. So I enjoy this time of year. It's kind of like we don't really get a fall break, so Thanksgiving and Christmas kind of are all wrapped into one here. Well, I'm not going to try to balance the fuel out. I'm going to just roll with it. We'll be about 1,000 or 1,500 pounds heavier on the left side than the right side. We'll just take that into account. Meanwhile, we're rolling in to our next waypoint here, Yakutak, and then from Yakutak we go outbound 098. That set here. All right, speeds come back up, by the way. Oh, hold on. Let's bring it down to cruise power. Now we're making up for lost time here. We'll get our passengers there. And as you can see, kind of one of the things about the radio navigation in the DC-8 is it can be a little snaky, especially when you're close to the VOR. Let's just engage heading mode here and we'll fly it out. Another crisis averted here. You almost have that saying right, my friend. It's another crisis, another self-inflicted crisis averted here on the Melvin Leroy channel. Yes. This would be true. This would be true. Okay, well, here's the good news. We're back on course, and we have essentially made our way about halfway down. To Ketchikan, so that's good to know. That's good to see. The bad news is it doesn't look like we're going to be getting any ATC anytime soon, which is too bad. If I had the cloud of a downwind sim, they would see me flying, and there'd be dudes coming out of the woodworks to control. All right, well, Land of the midnight sun. Well, right now it's the land of the no daylight, right? Isn't it? You get a little further north, and this is the time of year where the sun never rises, right? Like it's like 60 days without sun or something like that. This is a little bit north, but not all the way clear up to like, that's like Barrow, Alaska, like Arctic Circle north. But I'm guessing the days are pretty short up here in the Anchorage and Ketchikan area. By the way, we're the only arrival into Ketchikan, and also, by the way, PSPS, I'm not sure I can land a DC-8 on a 7,500 foot runway. Al South, can you research that for me? I just wanted to fly in there because I hadn't flown there for a long time. Okay, we're on the outbound. I should be trying to pick up 09 or 8. Spin that guy accordingly. Or downwind sim, do you happen to have that memorized? Can I land a DC-8 on a 7,500 foot runway? That's the question at hand, my friend. The inner pilot in me is thinking probably. Make sure I have the ball bearings. Downwind sim, I can't tell you how excited I am for the next Bush League backcountry fly-in. I was able to fly the complete routes, and I found it took me about an hour and 40 minutes. So I think it's going to be just about the right length. Oh yeah, and the changes that you made to the airstrips, yeah, they are awesome. Much better. Don't have those big, huge undulations. So yeah, really well done on that. Now I just need to get, I've kind of been working on yeah, just add it to my tab there, man. I'm just working on I guess the flight briefing, and after this flight, after I grease it down there in the Ketchikan area, after I give the folks at Ketchikan the DC-8 landing tutorial video, I'll ask you about the best way to go about putting that together. I don't think I'm going to use Blogger. I think I'm just going to try to make a PDF of everything, but I don't know if that's the best way to go either. So the one file in question is that OSM file that you sent me that has the corrections that we need to push out. Maybe the best way to go is, like you were saying, just let me be a guest writer on your WordPress, and anyway, we can talk about that a little bit later on. Okay, so we are 40 miles now out of yak attack, and I think this is a leg of, let's see, 65 and 54 is 119, and another 18, 37, and 21 more, 158, so about 160 miles. So we'll track it outbound about 80, and we'll tune in the Sisters Island VOR 114.0. Let's see how well we pick this outbound radial up now. Let's see if it does a little bit nicer job. It'll turn into it a little bit here, maybe. Yep. And then hopefully gently on the right-hand side. Man, this coast is something else. The Pacific Fjords speaks to the Norseman in me. Alright, so we just about got our Mach number here, decimal point 78. Just about have our cruise speed set. Yeah, all in all, if you forget about the first 200 miles of this trip, this has been a great trip for about the last 53. We're on the upswing. However, now I know how to restart an engine that you turn off while you are in flight. Just in case you want to try it yourself, I can share my notes with you later on. I wonder if we can get a little bit of weather here for the Ketchikan area. Still calm, which is good. Still cloudy. Kind of an overcasty type of cloud. The rain has stopped though, which is good. We just have some clouds at 22, broken at 75. .007. Okay, that's doable. Alright, Al-Sal, thanks for the confirmation. I was just trying to look that up myself here. And so 5,000 feet, wet runway 5,800. So we have tons of room. tons of room, which is good because I am notorious for floating this plane. Okay. Getting a nice tailwind though here, 251 and 33. Kind of been helping us all the way through. And we're just about to our halfway point, so let's tune in. Sisters Island, 1400. And let's see how far off we are there. Oh boy, why? What are we? Where are we going? I should have put this on heading mode. Yeah, it's trying to turn us back around for some reason. We don't want that. Reason number 306 why you would never want me in the cockpit of any plane is right there. The less than seamless transition from outbound to inbound. So we do have, we're inbound, well it's the, we're intercepting the 282 outbound radial actually for Sister Island, so we'll be slightly right of the current radial. Alright, it's that terrible moment when you're watching football and then all of a sudden you see somebody talking about Frozen. What is going on? Did we lose the game? Alright, I'll go back. I'll go watch a little college basketball then instead. Broncos, yeah, not so good today. But the good news from the Bronco game is that the Bills quarterback, Josh Allen, he is a former University of Wyoming Cowboy, and he played well, and his team is playing well right now. So that's, if you're going to get beat, you know, maybe not the worst thing in the world to get beat by a former UW stud. Which, speaking of UW, speaking of Wyoming, they were victorious in the border war, as I'm sure you guys were all wondering. Actually played a Friday game, which is weird because Friday should be high school football, but high school football in the state of Wyoming is done for the year, so I'm guessing they did it because they had a chance to be on TV, which is, I understand that. They beat their big rival 17-7. They've won that game now for the last 4 years in a row, so that's pretty cool. Man, we got way off here. Did I dial in 1400? Oh boy, that's South is sharing his baby. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Who makes that in X-Plane? Who makes the 7.5 in X-Plane? Because that's the one that that 757 Spy flies, right? He flies the X-Plane version. Flight Factor. Okay, very nice. I'm guessing just super immersive and with all that Boeing goodness. It's a cool looking plane. So the question, I guess, speaking of people trying new planes and all that good stuff, is what are you holding out for the Black Friday sales that inevitably are going to be coming down the pike? What are you, ooh, glass cockpit, oh yeah. What are you holding out for on the flight sim scene? You got that money burning a hole in your pocket. I know what Downwind Sim is going to buy. I'm wondering what Wolfpack Gamer is looking at, what's Al South looking at. And then I'll tell you kind of what I'm looking at. Well, I know what you're going to buy, Downwind Sim. Has to do with a certain type of aircraft that's not fixed wing. You were pricing last night and telling me the bargain you could get. In case you didn't know, one of the other talents that Mr. Downwind Sim has, the multi-talented Downwind Sim, I'm starting to find out, is he is quite the helicopter pilot. And he told me about his exploits, dusting off one of his old helicopters, and it sounds like he just kind of like riding a bike. He was able to just go out there and do it, make it sing, just like a Stradivarius. So I know he's looking at trying to come up with something control-wise that would allow him to do that. Oh, you're actually taking the springs out of an extra joystick. Oh, very nice. Okay, cool. So how are you going to hold the joystick? Will it just, is that what happens in a real helicopter? Does it just kind of flop to one side or the other if you're not holding on to it? Because isn't that what's going to happen with your joystick? Oh, okay. Very cool. I'm excited to see that, and I look forward to when we figure out what CSL files we need so that can actually render correctly in our X-Pilot. Doggone it. Guess who overshot his VOR? Alright, I am not nearly focused enough to be flying the DC-8. So Al South, what do you have your eyeball on, my man? Come on, there's got to be something on your flight sim wish list. Wolfpack Gamer, how about yourself? No more hand cramps, yeah, not head cramps. Up, tapped out for the rest of the year. Yeah, that happens. That happens. I am close to that, but I have my youngest son actually has a birthday about 10 days before. Well, not about, exactly 11 days before. It's on the 14th. So we kind of do we try to do the don't combine birthday and Christmas. But let's be honest, it's what he knows, and so we do hook him up with kind of double the presents, or at least a little bit more than just the status quo. So that's where most of my November, December money goes is towards that kind of stuff. But yeah, well, I tried to convince him. He showed some interest before he left for college, and I tried to convince him to just take a look, because he actually, I think, would really like the DCS world, because he kind of likes the war games and things like that. But he never did. Never took the bait. I thought I had him convinced into downloading X-Plane and just looking at the demo and just fiddling around. But ooh, the DCS stuff just went on sale. Nice. Well, if he was going to ever get into flight sim, I think that's where he would gravitate toward. He's kind of a military guy, and he actually had he was heading that direction, and actually had enrolled in or had committed to the Marines before he graduated, and then had a few things happen, and he decided to go a little different direction, at least for now. But yeah, he really is kind of a junior military historian. Coming up on, this is Sister Island 114.0, and I'm like way north of it, so I'm going to just do the best I can here. The outbound from Sister Island is 125, so I think, and I may be already on the outbound. Yep, I am. So let's spin that around. Let's just see how close or far away we are. Yeah, still well north. Alright, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to spin it down here, about 140. So, alright, I'll show you kind of what I'm thinking about. Here's candidate number one. One of these three are going to go in my hangar here, hopefully. The first one is this. It's kind of got that bush plane connection. It has the ability to create your own livery, which is awesome. And it also has the G1000 in it, which is kind of cool. And then it's just recently been updated as well, and so of course there's been a few simmers that have been messing around with it. Asia Bravo 7 is one. John Fly, I think, was in it. I think Catastrator might have even been in it the other day. And so yeah, I do like that, because I'm kind of in bush flying mode right now, and so having another option might be kind of fun. So that's the first one. Here's the second one that I'm considering. They're kind of all in that same price range. So I'm interested in the Turbo Otter, or the Turbo Arrow, Piper Turbo Arrow. And as I understand, this actually comes with the Turbo Arrow 3 and the Turbo Arrow 4, and the only difference, I think there's a slight engine difference, but the main difference is that I think the Turbo Arrow 3 doesn't have the T-tail. I think it has just the regular tail. But what I like about that plane is that it has a little more basic cockpit, and it's not glass. It's more the 6-pack, and and so it's a little bit more retro, I guess, but it's fast. It's I don't have a plane. I don't have a single engine plane that really is like that, and so I think that one is also one I'm considering. And then you know, this one here won't shock you. Oh wait, wow, how can that not be on the org store here? Wow. The third plane that I'm looking at here is a little bit pricier, but I think the TBM 900 looks pretty dang cool. And what I like about this plane is it's probably the most study level of any of the GA aircraft that are in X-Plane right now. So and yeah, from what I've seen, I've never experienced it firsthand, but what I've seen, it just looks like just an incredible aircraft. But again, it's all glass, it's G1000, it's all high tech, and so that can be good, and that can be sometimes not so good. But those are the three that I'm kind of weighing right now, and we'll see. All right. In the meantime, I think I am approaching my top of descent, or maybe even past it. So I'm gonna, as I'm descending here, or as I'm passing over, I should say, now I'm a good 30 miles south of it, I'm gonna go ahead and start my descent. Let's pull the power back slightly. Let's go ahead and spin the vertical speed. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be one of those that, you know, it feels, the cockpit feels a little bit like the only aircraft I have that's kind of close to that is the King Air 200, which is also a Flight 1 product, and I love the G1000 that's in the King Air. I love it. It is tremendous. So yeah, it feels a little bit like that, and or it looks a little bit, reminds me of that, I suppose, what I should be saying. So we'll see just kind of what it'll probably boil down to is if any of those guys have any kind of a sale over the holidays. That's probably gonna make my decision. But so yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be my first payware aircraft. And the beauty part is, if I don't end up getting any of them for whatever reason, it's not, you know, it's going to be okay, because the things that you have available I have right now are, it's going to be a full-time job just learning how to handle those. So yeah. Oh yeah, the King Air 350. Yeah, that is another one that looks nice. The reason why I'm thinking about not having the King Air is because I have it in P3D already. So I was trying to look for some aircraft that I didn't already have. I figure it's, I mean, I'll have the only repeat aircraft that I'm going to have in X-Plane will be the 737, but again, that's just because the Zevo stuff is free, and you're crazy if you like the 737. You're crazy to not, to not download that. Yep, MD-82 that's there. That's another great one. and that's one that I would love to mess around with. That's more of the vintage airliner that I like so much as well. So, and I've seen you in that. It looks awesome. But the FlyJ Sim stuff, that looks pretty cool. You know, I think the 727 is gonna eventually make its way into my hangar. But all right, more about that later on. We need to kind of figure out what's going on here with our approach. So we just are south of, again, Sister Island VOR. We are approaching and potentially get pretty close to Level Island, 11650. I hope I didn't miscalculate my top of descent here. Let's see where we're at. About 50 miles away from there, kind of a little bit south, or excuse me, a little bit west of where we need to be. So let's spin it over here. And we'll take a peek at the weather. Ketchikan weather still calm, 3007. I think we're just going to try to make straight in runway 11. It's a little bit early, but I'm going to go ahead and set that altimeter so I don't forget. And yeah, we're heading down here at about 2,000 feet a minute. Ketchikan, let's see, ILS runway 11. We would need to be down here 4,600. Actually 4,100 at Kogox. Is that how you say that? Kogox? And then we can come straight in here to runway 11. So there's a little bit of terrain right here that you have to deal with, so we don't want to be any lower than that. Actually, when you're coming the other way, you come out here, it looks like, and you make a little procedure turn. And there's a little holding point also for, I think that must be on the go around. Alright, well, so we'll shoot for that. And with any luck, we'll make it down. We are going to have low vis. Let's turn all of our lights up here as much as we can so we can see what's going on. Same thing over here. I think we maybe already have them all up. There we go. How are we doing on fuel, by the way? Alright, we did empty that out, so we turn those boost pumps off. 48, that's well balanced. 48, so we had done it perfectly. We kept it, because that's the other thing that you're supposed to do for the structural integrity of the wing, is you empty the outboard alternate fuel tanks first, which then balances, or should balance, the outboard main fuel tanks with the inboard main fuel tanks. And of course this one is way above everybody else because we had that 20 minutes where it was completely turned off. So yeah, that's why we're there. Alright, we have not been on course, I don't feel like, for more than about 2 minutes this entire flight. We're still well to the west. It's not like we have a ton of wind pushing us anywhere. It's been mainly a helping wind all night long. Doesn't fill me with confidence that I'm going to be able to shoot this ILS approach, but I guess we're going to have to, whether we want to or not. I think it's a very VFR type of day. Alright, so we're closing in, and then after Level Island, we have 81 miles essentially to the airfield. So to be 4,100 as our initial approach fix. We are currently descending through, oh boy, 20,000. Feels like we're a long way from being where we want to be. There we go. We're back on course just about. Spin that guy back around. Plenty of terrain to worry about in here too, so it's not terrible to be a little high right here, but again, with a short runway and not a lot of room to spare, I don't want to be too high. Better brief my go around again just in case. Our speed is super fast right now. You need to start thinking a little bit about that. South asks, and now is when you ask about the fuel situation. Well, yeah, I've been trying to just be in a state of denial about that. So that's why we're holding off here. Okay, through 14,000 and still closing in here on Level Island, and then again from Level Island to the airfield is 81 miles. So I actually think we're going to be okay. I am trying to get the speed down. I'm essentially back to idle right now. If I need to, I can level out just a little bit. But I think we're going to be okay. There, the speed's starting to come down just a little bit. The bigger concern now than the fuel is the fact that I can't seem to navigate. I can't seem to get on track here. So, Lord only knows how close I'm going to be in the end to the Ketchikan Airport. Good people of Ketchikan, Alaska, if you can hear me, set some sort of signal fire to guide me home. Alright, there we go. I'm going to blow right by this because I'm super close, actually. So I want to go on the outbound here, 125. So I'm staying on the 125 because that's where I was at. Alright. Let's just spin it over here. Let's see, I've got 81 miles now to go. And This is going to all be outbound until I get close enough to pick up the ILS frequency. Oh no, Al South. Yeah, I'm glad I don't make major screw-ups like that in the middle of my flight. How embarrassing. Alright, so now we're on the outbound. That guy is starting to center up a little bit. That would be fantastic if that's what we could do. And I might even pop it into, I will, VOR mode, and let's just see if we can actually follow it. Let the computer help us out here. What are we at? Below 10,000, so I should probably put some lights on. And then this needs to be all. I never did come off of armed, so that's where it should be. Everything else I believe looks good. Altimeter is set. Let's just check one last thing here. Ice protection, windshield heat is all on. Here we are into the soup. Tank selectors. All my boost pumps need to be turned off. Okay, that I better do. Off, off, off. That one needs to come off. All right. And what do I say? Tank valves need to be closed. All right, those all need to be closed. We're no longer transferring fuel anywhere. Oh yeah, VREF. VREF was, I don't have it right. The second VREF is one. I'm gonna have to look at my chart here. VREF, wherefore art thou VREF? There's cruise. There's cruise. Okay, there we go. Landing speeds. At 35, VREF will be 128. Alright, so I can at least put that guy in. 1,000 to go. Wow, I made it down way sooner than I thought. Calculations were not good. Although it won't be bad to kind of level off. In fact, I think I might level off at... Let's just level off at 4,500. Let our speed kind of get back down under control here. Somewhere in that like 230 range I think would be pretty good for us. I'm just going to set that right there. And alright, that's good, that's good. The other thing I'm going to do here is this. Let's pull that back slightly. Let's set 116.50 in nav 2. Let's pick up that. Why do I have a different DME over there? No, I don't. I think it's the same. 19. Alright. So I'm going to go back into heading mode now. And I'm going to tune in the... I know we're still 60 miles out. I'm just reading your comments, Al South. Yep. Going to be a completely unscheduled fly by the seat of my pants flight. And yes, you and I, that's why we're friends. We suffer from the same adult ADHD symptom. We just get too distracted too easily. Speaking of getting distracted, we were going to tune in the ILS frequency, 109.3. We won't be picking that up quite yet, but that's okay. Get it set, and then the approach course is 115. We will set that. We're on on a pretty good intercept course here. By the way, this should be on the second side. Should be we should be tracking a 125, right? Again, completely opposite of where I'm supposed to be. 125. Okay, so we're staying pretty well on course. 25 miles out, an 81-mile leg. Thinking about 4 things, trying to do 3, working on 1. Nothing done. Yeah, that's kind of how it goes, man. That's kind of how it goes. All right, speed's looking pretty good right here. Maybe we'll nudge it up just slightly to keep from pitching up too extreme. Not sure where I went astray with my descent calculations. I think my top of descent was where it needed to be, but sorry, I had a text message there. I think my top of descent was where it needed to be. I just think that my descent, I didn't need to go 2,000 feet per minute, so my descent rate was off. I'm gonna have to tweak that. I'm trying to be like Slant Alpha. I'm trying to create a spreadsheet for everything. I still don't quite have the DC-8 one figured out just yet. Alright, we're still pretty well on course. We're 33 miles out, so just about 50 to go. We're at 4,600. I'm staying there because that's the chart is kind of recommending, and then we can drop down here when we get to 12 DME. We can drop down to 4,100. By the way, just to brief the missed approach, we're going to climb to 5,000, direct to CMJ, which is Clam Cove. All right, 5,000 at Clam Cove. We are going to head on the CMJ NDB bearing 124. I'm going to get that NDB tuned in here. Head out here to Anchorage, and then to the Ann Island BOR, and that's where we'll hold. If that happens to us, what we'll probably do is we'll probably just come out here 124, turn around and make right traffic and give it another shot. I have to pay attention though to this business right here, because these are some mountains that can get in the way if we're not careful. So all right, yeah, do I use SimBrief? I do, absolutely, especially on a plane like this where I need to have the exact latitude and longitude. It's invaluable. Gives me fuel load, and even generates passenger numbers if I want to use those. Although for some reason, I think maybe I'm choosing the wrong version of the DC-8. It always gives me more passengers than I can actually put on the aircraft. So I always just kind of go with full load. Oh man, I'm watching this. Just flipped over to the Dallas New England game. It looks like a wet mess. Halftime score 10-6. The Broncos game there in in Orchard Park, New York, it was just nothing but wind. It looked cold and windy. It was pretty ugly to watch. Okay. So we're just closing in here, 34-ish miles out, which 34 minus 81, you know, we're getting close to that halfway point. We are in the middle of some clouds. Active skies telling us the same thing. We're still calm. We're going to have these clouds all the way down to 2,200. The elevation, by the way, of Ketchikan is 92 feet, so it's right down there, just about sea level. Still are the only show in town, by the way. I didn't really give you guys a look at the Vatastic map, but we're the only arrival into Ketchikan. By the way, here's what's going on if you're tuned in and wondering. Some ATC in the Seattle and the LA area. West Coast is looking pretty good. And then the East Coast, as always, Jacksonville, DC, New York, down here kind of south of Cuba. I don't know, Montego Bay. I don't know what this center is, but and then Fort Worth and even some Montreal. So fairly quiet Sunday afternoon. I don't know that there's anything going on in Europe way. Nope. Asia, Australia, they're all in bed. As always, there's some South America. I tell you what, South America has, I think it's a pretty overlooked part. It's in a lot of ways, it's like Alaska. It has got some stunningly beautiful places to fly, but for whatever reason, hardly anybody ever flies there. So Al South is asking Downwind Sim how does Sim Brief align with the SIDS from Sky Vector. So he's noticing that the departure restrictions don't align. I would say one thing, and Downwind Sim will have a better answer, but I do know that the AirRack cycle that you're using, it does matter. So make sure that you're on the current AirRack with your nav data. Okay, in the meantime, we have picked up the localizer, and we are east of the localizer, so that's not a good thing. So I'm going to turn and see if we can't intercept. There is our okay. And we're below the glide slope, so that's good. So we should turn here, try to intercept, and with any luck, be able to pick things up here. Just a quick peek so I can refresh my memory. I have to go all the way as far as I can to the right. Speed looks good. Still not picking up. What am I here? 60, oh boy. 65 miles, so I'm less than 20 miles out. So I don't want to miss, I don't want to get all the way down here and miss the localizer, so I'm going to bring it around a little bit further. Just keep my eyeballs on that guy. Unfortunately, you have no way of knowing really how far away you are. And I don't want to turn too drastically because I don't want to make it to where I overshoot the localizer, but yeah, I also don't want to get, now we're sitting at 68-ish, 69 miles. So I mean, we're closing in here. We're only about 10 miles out. Glide slope's starting to come into play here too, doggone it. I think I could probably go down a little ways then. There it comes. Okay, so I'm going to spin it all the way around. Where am I? All the way around. I'm going to try to intercept. Well, we're going to blow through it, unfortunately. All right, we're going to throw in a notch of flaps. Let's try to start bringing our speed back. It's going to be a little bit of an S-turner. Oh gosh, I just spun the wrong thing. This has to be 115. I think, yes, Al South, your answer is, or your thought is correct. I think, as far as I know, Navigraph is the only one that provides it. Okay, we're still getting no DME here, but we're on the glide slope, and we are starting to see some ground. Alright, it's telling me to throw some landing gear down, so I will. Our go-around altitude is 4,000, by the way. We are currently descending through 2,700. We should break out of the clouds. Yeah, so we're starting to see some ground here, and it would be lovely to see a little bit of some runway lights. We're on the glide slope. We're kind of slowly snaking our way onto the localizer also. So keep our eyes at our 12 o'clock, and hopefully it'll be coming in. So yeah, Al South, if you're going to buy that subscription, pick up the plan that gets you everything at once. It gets you the Navigraph moving maps along with the updated AirAC. It's not very much more. I think the whole thing is like $8 a month or something like that, and you just get everything all in one. So I'm a little bit slow. That's my ref, and I'm below that, so I want to add some power here. I'm going to go ahead and get, okay, I'm already to flaps 35. I believe I see runway lights ahead of me. Speed's not too bad. Ooh, I did not tune in my ADF here, so hopefully I will not have to go around. That's not good. Yep, I see the approach lights, but I don't see the runway lights. Why don't I see the runway lights? Alright, we're coming off of autopilot. They're kind of like not even medium intensity here. Weird. Alright, there they come. Maybe it's just a little foggy down here. I don't know. Slid to the right a little bit here. Come on back. Become a little low as well. there wind here I don't know about? What's the deal? Alright, there we go. Now we're back. Yeah, we're definitely low. And a little slow. And now we're going right again. Ah, this is weird. Boy, oh boy, we're way low. Way low. Coming at it with a bit of an angle. And oh, now it jumped us up. It, for some reason, bounced us up. There we go. That was really weird. Alright, we're down. Reversers. Yeah, it is super foggy here. See if we can get it shut down before we're off the end of the runway. And it is, it's windy here too. That's really weird. Manual braking. Alright. And welcome to Ketchikan. Not one that's going to go in the highlight reel, but we're down. We're on the ground. We had our fair share of issues today, but managed to make it in. Oh, this is a this is a cranky old lady. I tell you what, gotta pay attention. Just gotta pay attention. Kind of go down the hill here, by the way, when you get to Ketchikan. The ramp is way below the runway, and so yeah, this is not what P3D does well. But we're going down the hill into the ramp area, and I don't think there's a spot on the ramp probably big enough for this plane. I don't know. Let's where's our likely candidate here? Yeah, we'll just go down to the far end here. The what would that be? West end of the airport. And we'll just pull in here and call it good. This is an Orbix scenery and one I paid for. And I do like it. It's fun to get up and in here. There's a 737. Alright, we'll get down here next to this guy. Somewhere in here. Doesn't look like my doesn't really look like my lights around the ramp area are working like they should. Alright. Turn that on to taxi. Should have done that a while ago. Yeah, everything is super dark here. Usually the night lighting is much better. Oh, I'd be totally blinding the people working down there, wouldn't I? Alright, well, we're down. We're down. Turn that off. Set the parking brakes. Let's cut the fuel. Whew. Yeah, something's not quite right with my lighting here at the ramp area. It's been a while since I've been in here. I need to come in and just look at the configuration, see what's going on. But all right, let's catch up. Let's see about the trash talking. This, I'm sure, inevitably went on with that textbook approach. Okay, Al South is talking about jumping back into Navigraph, downwind sim. I made it. Yep. Yeah, and what was that? I was on short final. I know I was low, but I wasn't low to the point where I crashed, was I? Usually if you hit the water or something, it like respawns you like, 500 feet up in the air. But anyway, yeah, just a little bit of a sim glitch there. I don't know. And then tune in next week for another episode of General Hospital in the Sky. Oh man, yeah, that wall material, you're right, it is super absorbent. Really, they try to keep the light pollution down here in the Ketchikan area. So All right, well, I'm going to cue the outro music here and tell you what I've got coming up here on the stream. I have updated my schedule. I need to be able to find it before I can talk about it, but we are going to apparently I'm not going to be able to find it. Let me start Discord here instead of looking at my... Oh, there we go. Now it's up. Now it's up. So, our 2 Turkey Day adventures kind of failed. We failed on Friday. We were trying to fly the Boston Turkey Trot or whatever that was. That was when I was testing out, making sure I knew how this plane worked. And I cut the number 2 and number 3 engines, and I eventually just said, the heck with it, I'm not going to worry about it. And then yesterday we tried to fly this route, and some family stuff got in the way. But so I would chalk up a less than successful sort of Thanksgiving themed flight, Thanksgiving themed flights for the year, but that's okay. We're going to be back at it. So Monday is tomorrow, Moncton Monday. We haven't done Moncton Monday in a while. I'll be in the Captain Sim 737-200 flying. To be announced. I don't know if we'll go Moncton down to Boston or if we'll try to go somewhere down to maybe Kennedy or one of those areas in New York. I'll let you know. And then Wednesday, we're going to head to Norway in X-Plane, and I've got a little 2-airport adventure that I'm going to go on, and the aircraft is to be announced. I'm going to leave you hanging on that one a little bit, but I'm excited to kind of go over into the European world and cook some ortho and all that fun stuff as well. And then next weekend is the TWA historical flights number 1. We'll be continuing our L1011 historical flights, but we wrapped up the Eastern Airlines, the 2 flights we were flying with them, and now we're going to fly a couple with the TWA routes, so we'll be doing that on Saturday. And then there's a bunch of stuff in December that'll be fun as well, so hopefully you can swing by and check us out. Downwind Sim Al South Hangout, I just have a couple questions after I shut this baby down, and everybody else, thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you again next time. I'll be looking for you on the TCast. Take care. God bless.